Hello, my dear friend. Today I want to tell you a story. Not just any story, but one that may change how you see your own life. It's about a man who kept waiting and waiting until one day he realized he had waited forever. This is the story of Daniel, the man who waited forever. Daniel was born in a quiet neighborhood, the kind of place where nothing ever really changed. The streets were narrow, the houses built close together, and everyone knew each other by name. On Sunday mornings, the air smelled of fresh bread from the bakery on the corner. Children played football in the dusty streets, chasing the ball until their shoes wore thin. Neighbors greeted each other the same way every day. From the outside, Daniel's life looked ordinary, even peaceful. But inside, he carried a fire, a dream he barely dared to speak aloud. He wanted to be a musician. From the moment he touched a guitar at the age of 12, he felt alive. His fingers found rhythms before he even knew what chords were. He dreamed of standing on stage, playing for thousands, moving hearts with his songs. He practiced until his fingers ached, singing until his voice cracked. In those moments, he felt unstoppable. One night, while plucking at the strings in his small room, Daniel gathered the courage to tell his father, "Dad, I think I want to be a musician." His father, sitting in his chair with a newspaper, looked up and laughed. "Music is a hobby, son, not a life. Study, get a job, be safe." Daniel's mother, who was folding laundry nearby, sighed softly. "Dreams are beautiful, Daniel, but dreams don't pay the bills." Those words sank deep. They became a chain around his heart. He looked at the guitar, suddenly heavier in his hands, and whispered to himself, "Maybe later. I'll chase music later, when the time is right." And so the waiting began. He promised himself he would start when he finished school, then when he found a stable job, then when he had more money, then when life felt easier. Always later. Always someday. At 22, Daniel worked in an office. Every morning he put on the same shirt, the same tie, and sat at a desk under fluorescent lights. The hum of computers filled the air. Papers piled high on his desk. His colleagues spoke about promotions, vacations, mortgages. Daniel nodded along, but inside, he felt like a ghost. His guitar rested in the corner of his small apartment, gathering dust. At night, he passed it by on his way to bed, telling himself, "One day, when I save enough, I'll record my songs." But days became weeks. Weeks became months. Months became years. And still, he waited. One Friday evening, after a long week, Daniel's colleagues invited him to a bar. He wanted to refuse. He was tired, but something inside whispered, "Go." When he walked into the bar, the smell of beer and laughter filled the air. The room was crowded, the lights dim. On stage was a young man, no older than Daniel, strumming a guitar and singing with his whole soul. His voice cracked with emotion. The crowd clapped, cheered, even cried during the softer songs. Daniel's chest burned. He whispered, "That could have been me." But then the rope of doubt wrapped tighter around him. "You're not ready. You don't have money. You'll embarrass yourself. Wait a little longer." So he clapped politely, finished his drink, and walked home alone. That night, lying in bed, he stared at the ceiling and told himself once again, "Soon. Not now. Soon." And so the waiting continued. At 30, Daniel had what others envied: a good job, a car, and a small house. People said, "He's successful." But he felt hollow. The guitar still sat in the corner, now covered in dust thick enough to hide its shine. He avoided looking at it, as though it were a reminder of the man he had promised to become but never did. He told himself, "I'm older now, but maybe when I retire, I'll have time. Music will always be there." But deep inside, he knew music wasn't waiting. Time wasn't waiting. His own soul wasn't waiting. One night, he had a dream. He was standing on a stage, the lights blinding, the crowd silent, waiting for his first note. His hands trembled as he lifted the guitar. He strummed, but no sound came out. He tried again. Nothing. The crowd grew restless, then angry, then disappeared one by one until he stood alone in silence. Daniel woke up shaking, his shirt damp with sweat. He sat on the edge of his bed, whispering, "I've been waiting my whole life." But in the morning, he buried the thought under emails, deadlines, and meetings. At 45, he was promoted to manager. More money, more responsibilities, more stress. He bought a bigger house, filled with furniture he barely used. Everyone congratulated him. "You've made it, Daniel," they said. But he didn't feel like he had made anything at all. One evening, at a company party, a live band played. Their guitarist was in his 20s, smiling with fire in his eyes, his hands alive on the strings. Daniel stood frozen, drink in hand, tears burning in his eyes. A colleague slapped his back. "Great music, isn't it?" Daniel forced a smile. "Yes, great." But inside, he whispered, "That should have been me." Time marched on. His hair grayed, his shoulders bent. The world moved faster, leaving him behind. At 65, Daniel retired. No more alarm clocks, no more deadlines. He had time now, endless hours stretching before him. One morning, he pulled the guitar out of the corner. His hands trembled. The wood smelled faintly of dust and lost years. He strummed. The strings buzzed harshly. His fingers ached. His voice cracked when he tried to sing. He laughed bitterly. Too late. He had waited forever. And so Daniel spent his old age sitting on his porch, watching the world pass by. Sometimes he saw young people walking with guitars on their backs, full of dreams. He wanted to shout, "Don't wait. Play now. Don't end up like me." But he stayed silent, trapped in the rope of regret. My friend, let me turn to you now. Maybe you are like Daniel. Maybe you've been waiting for the perfect time. Waiting until you feel ready. Waiting until you have enough money, enough courage, enough approval. But let me tell you a secret. There is no perfect time. The longer you wait, the heavier the rope becomes. And one day, like Daniel, you may realize you have waited forever. Don't be Daniel. Don't wait forever. The perfect moment does not exist. There is only now. If you want to write, write today. If you want to sing, sing today. If you want to love, love today. If you want to change your life, change it today. Because one day you will wake up and it will be too late. Lesson from Daniel's story. Waiting is the slowest form of dying. Fear disguises itself as patience, but it is still fear. Regret is heavier than failure. Action today is worth more than a lifetime of someday. Now, my friend, I want you to take one small step. Write in the comments, what have you been waiting for? Name it. Share it. Because when you name it, you break its power. And if this story touched your heart, subscribe to this channel right now. Don't just listen. Don't just wait. Join us, because every week we bring you stories that don't just teach English, but awaken your soul. Remember, you are not Daniel. You don't have to wait forever. The stage is waiting. The book is waiting. The life you dream of is waiting, but only if you stop waiting and start living. So, I ask you one last question. What will you do today?